So when is it time to stay and continue a new relationship, or when is it time to face the reality that this is not going to work longer term? My name's Luanne Ward and I'm a dating and relationship expert for over 25 years. So when we meet somebody new and we're out there dating, we have an expectation that the person that we're going to meet is going to have obviously some of the qualities that we admire in ourselves, that we look for in other people. If we are a highly motivated person, we generally tend to look for someone that's highly motivated. If we are fit and healthy, we generally tend to look fit and healthy. If we were successful, we look for successful. So we infatuate with certain things about ourselves that we look for in a partner. So let's say we find someone, we meet someone, and they're presenting all these amazing qualities that we love in ourselves, but we also have things that we're trying to avoid. I'm telling you, when you start dating and you meet somebody and you enter into the dating circle with them or the cycle with them, they're going to actually bring the things that you are trying to avoid just as much as the things that you infatuate with. So you're progressing down the road with this person and there's things that are coming to the surface that you may not like. And you think, okay, I'm going to just, I can't deal with that. The very first thing you obviously need to do is communicate this to the person that you're dating. Tell them what it is that you need. Because if you do not have communication, you don't have a relationship to start with. If you're entering into a situation with somebody where they're potentially going to be somebody you're going to have in your life on a longer term basis, and you can't sit down with them and open lines of communication around certain challenges and what you need and how you deal with things, then you don't have really a foundation on which to build anything on. You do need to communicate and you do need to actually understand that people are who they are. They're not going to change. So if you can't accept things now, then you have no right to just expect them to change later on. And it's foolish to think that over a period of time you'll be able to get them to see your way of thinking, because of course your way of thinking is right? Wrong, because there's two sides to everything. It's not what they're not doing, it's what you're expecting somebody to do and they're not fulfilling that. Therefore, you have an expectation that's not being fulfilled, and that causes resentment. I'm going to give you a really good example, actually. I was talking to a client of mine who's in her 30s and she's 38 or so, and we're talking about her previous relationships. I want to get an understanding of what's going on in her world, and she was telling me about a gentleman that she used to date who she really liked, and she was quite upset that after 4 months the relationship ended. And what she loved about this guy is that he was fit and active, and he was really committed to his surf lifesaving and keeping himself healthy, and he did a lot of work for the surf club, and she really admired those qualities. And then when I asked her why she ended up with him, she said, well, he was just really unreliable. He would tell me he was going to call at 10 o'clock, but he wouldn't call until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and he would tell me we would go out tomorrow night, but he wouldn't call until 4 o'clock, so I didn't know whether we were going out or not. And I just can't deal with someone who isn't reliable. I had to point out to her that he is reliable. He's just not reliable in the way that she wants him to be, because he's reliable in the things that he values, which is his surf lifesaving, he's keeping fit, he's eating healthy, he's all reliable in all of those areas. She had to obviously agree that he was equally reliable as what he was unreliable. Finding a partner that actually has a similar commitment to a relationship, that is really tricky, because the commitment is a decision. You can meet someone that you really like and you think, oh my gosh, they're so fantastic, I really like them, they're good looking, they're everything I kind of want. But if they're not committed to the relationship and they've got other things that they're doing, that's okay. That's not a rejection on you. That just means that your lives are at a different stage, and finding someone that is on the same plane, that's the tricky bit. If you are in a situation, in a relationship, and you're starting to feel insecure, if you're insecure, you need to raise your own value. You can't get the other person to try and make you feel secure if you're feeling insecure because they're not being reliable by calling you when you want to be called, and they're not spending enough time with you. If they're not spending the time with you, you need to get busy. You need to find more things to do to fill your time. If you're feeling jealous about something, who are you comparing yourself to? all of the things that this person that you're dating, the things that are turning you off, are the things that you're trying to actually avoid. So look at the voids, because love and the decision to love somebody means that you're giving freely. They're not going to give back what you give back. There's a massive misconception that I treat people how I want to be treated. Well, that's terrific. But how about treating somebody how they want to be treated and how they need to be treated? Because the relationship is going to have a chance of getting off the ground and actually staying connected. But the expectation that they're going to treat you how you want to be treated based on how you treat them is unrealistic, and it's a false fantasy. I would suggest to you, and this goes against a lot of other dating experts who say, oh, well, if she doesn't call or if he doesn't call, you should just kind of write them off and just move on. I don't agree with that. I actually agree that if you like somebody, you put your best foot forward and you give it a red hot go, and you let that person know that you're there for them, that you're prepared to work with them. And don't let someone slip through your fingers because of your petty and immature expectation that they're only going to give you all of these things that you need, because that's your infatuated part of a relationship. They're going to bring the absolute opposite. So try, okay? Because if you meet somebody that you really like and you throw it away because they do a couple of little things that you think, no, I don't really like that, I think it's a foolish attitude to have, because finding somebody is actually really difficult. But also honour yourself and honour your own heart. And if somebody isn't on the same page, that's okay too. That doesn't mean it's a rejection. It just means it's a redirection somewhere else for you to find someone that is more on the same page as you, because rejection is never about you. It's not that they're saying you are rejected. The only person that can bring love into your life is yourself, because your love is free to give. So let me recap on that. When you meet somebody and you're deciding to go into the relationship, you must look at the infatuation and the things that you're trying to avoid, because they will end up matching each other. Trust me. And at some point, you're going to have to face that you have different values. Your values are not going to be exactly the same as the other person's. Don't just throw something away. Really try and make it work. And when you've done everything that you can, then you can walk away and know that your love is free now to give to somebody else. And rejection is not about you, it's about redirecting you where you're supposed to be. Is there any of you have any questions? I'm certain you've all been in a situation where you perhaps ended a relationship where you could have stayed around and tried a little bit harder. Anyway, we'd love to hear from you as always. Have a great week, everybody, and we will see you all next week.